Well, Adam, as you can tell, we're all ready to be on national television.
I can tell.
You know?
This is a Bud Light commercial, right?
Getting warmed up.
Yeah, the label's turned around.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah,
We'll make Fender happy, though.
Oh, yeah, won't it? So how you been, man?
I've been good.
Good?
I'm good. Real busy.
God, I ran into somebody the other day. Somebody that we always see at the junkets. I can't remember who it was. Who I said you were coming by. It's somebody that knows both of us. And they said tell you hello, and I can't remember for the life of me who it was. But it's somebody that liked both of us.
Yeah, good. All right.
So,
Everyone likes both of us, all right?
I hope so. Yeah.
We have no enemies, really.
That's right.
She didn't see them.
So, I got to meet your daughter upstairs.
Oh, Bella.
Adorable.
She's great, isn't
Yeah. Gorgeous, yeah.
She's a great kid. Just for TV purposes, as far together as possible. There you go.
Just the chairs.
Yeah, don't tell these two swashbucklers that.
Nice.
We're going to give you the greatest soundbite right off the bat. We are the greatest band in the world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I like our record. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Yeah.
Big fan.
Big fan. Or maybe switch with Butler.
What's that?
You need to pull your chair up. Your chair is lower than the other one.
Oh, it is.
About a foot shorter.
If you move
Really?
forward, will it have that effect?
How's this?
We should be able to lift
Lift the chair up. Yeah.
There's a lever.
Oh, yeah? Or you can switch with me.
Oh, good. Now it doesn't work. This is the one that Kristen broke.
Here, because if that one's shorter, then it might make us all. Oh, here's the.
Butler's tall, let's
yeah,
just
try
switch
with
chairs.
How many Boxmasters does it take to sit in a line?
Yeah, really. What's up there, Billy Barty?
Hey there.
How's that?
That looks bad. Sorry.
Sharp looking teeth.
That's where they're all going.
All the world's crazy about a sharp dressed man. That's what our friend Billy said.
Well, this is different talking to you with a band. This is another.
Oh, I know,
going
right?
on, right?
Yeah, usually it's just you and me down here hanging out.
Yeah. We good? How does that feel for you? First of all, sitting here, you're not by yourself doing any of this, and you got the team with you. Is it a different vibe, a whole different feel?
Well, for me, it feels good, you know, with the band. I mean, after so many years of doing solo records and touring with my name, you know, it's really nice when somebody says, "So what's the name of your band?" The Boxmasters, you know, instead of saying, "Oh, it's just me." That feels good. I mean, I grew up in bands, and it's a good feeling. I grew up as a ball player and always had a team kind of attitude, and so for me, it's actually pretty refreshing to just be one of the guys in the band.
And how official is it now for you guys? It's another record. You played with Billy for a while, but now to kind of have that name and be official band members, is it a different vibe?
I mean, it feels the same because you know it's been the three of us for a while making the record, but yeah, it's really nice. It's nice to get to sit here and do this kind of stuff, and it's a good time.
Now talk about the attention that this music's getting and this record's getting. This is before release, and videos getting play, and people are talking about it, listening to it, and you've already played some shows. The initial attention is something that maybe you haven't always had with all your records like this, where people are waiting to hear the music. You have your fan base, but you know what I'm saying. What's this like to have that excitement level going in?
It's pretty great to have a sort of pre-excitement, pre-record excitement, you know. This really is, it's kind of a unique thing, you know. It's something that's not going on right now, sort of, you know, combining this sort of the mod lifestyle and the music of the '60s, you know, the pop rock music of the '60s with electric hillbilly music, and so I guess that's what really piqued people's interest, you know, is the fact that it's kind of a hipper way of looking at a thing that people have done for a while, which is play the old style, you know, country music, but you know, our thing is. It's almost like the Boxmasters have become a name brand, you know, before we're even out there, and it's been really exciting for us. I mean, to have a video that's playing on the video channels and everything before the record, It's just so thrilling to us, and it means so much to us because, you know, in these days and times, you know, fashion, we've talked about it before, you know, fashion and music are so closely linked, sometimes in bad ways and sometimes in good ways. And in this case, I think the two things really came together in the right way because most of us grew up being fans of the Beatles, you know, and in a lot of people's case, fans of the, you know, Merle Haggard and Buck Owens and Hank Williams and all that. So you put those two things together, and I think maybe that's why people are interested in it, because it's a couple of things that we all loved put into one band.
Mm-hmm. And talk about how that came together, that original idea, when that clicked, because you're a smart guy and you're a hardworking guy. Was it an idea you had one night, like a light bulb, or was it an organic thing that kind of formed after a few months of playing these kind of songs? Or?
Well, it really happened when we were making my last solo record, Beautiful Door, and J.D. was working over here on it, on Beautiful Door as an assistant engineer, and he and I did a country song one night for a guy's TV show up in Canada. He'd asked me to do a Hank Williams song, so we did it, and we liked the way it sounded, and it didn't sound like the way we would normally cover a Hank Williams song. It had this sort of real 60s vibe to it, I mean, kind of a pop vibe to it, and we liked it, and we were listening to a British Invasion CD, like this collection of, you know, a bunch of the songs by Peter and Gordon and the Kinks and different people. And we heard this song, Yesterday's Gone, by Chad and Jeremy, and I told J.D., I said, you know, at the base of this song, it's really just a hillbilly song. And they sing it like English guys, but let's try to sing it like, you know, morons like us and see what happens. And we did it, and it was just a sound that we thought needed to be experimented with.
Mm-hmm.
So the first official song for the Boxmasters was Yesterday's Gone by Chad and Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I told J.D., I said, look, there's only two of us here, and the other guys in my solo band, they're spread out all over the place. I said, nobody's here but us. Do you know a lead guitar player? He said, well, I know this guy, Mike Butler, and he calls up this rascal here. And he came over, and we formed the Boxmasters. It all happened pretty organically, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really from just listening to music, and that's why I think it's important for people to listen to music. It's astounding how inspired you can get just from sitting around, you know, having a beer and listening to some music.
Mm-hmm. But you're constantly listening and constantly playing, as these guys are. You're probably, this is something, every time I see it, it seems like there's music going on, no matter what movie's opening. It seems like this is your life. How much time do you guys spend together making music, listening to music? Is this something that's always kind of going on?
Great question for J.D. to answer.
It's about 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. And so we sleep on the seventh day, just like, you know, that other guy.
Very good. You mentioned the song Yesterday's Gone, starting with, and this is a double album, double record. Talk about the covers first of all, and injecting what you were just talking about, that sound, and making these songs your own. Just what was the kind of the goal with each song, working each one out, and kind of how proud you are of what you've done with, you know, with some of these classic songs and some, you know, rare songs that most people don't even know.
Well, one of the things that we wanted to make sure of is that we had, because the band is based on the pop rock of the 60s as well as the old hillbilly music, we wanted to make sure we covered an equal amount of, you know, the 60s songs and the hillbilly songs. So most of it was, I wouldn't say it was calculated, I mean, in terms of the balance it was. In terms of the songs we covered, they're just songs that, when I was growing up, they were songs that we played in different bands and songs I loved. And, you know, these guys are the youngsters in the band, some of them they didn't even know. And since then have fallen in love with a lot of those artists, Mott the Hoople for one. We cut a hillbilly version of a Mott the Hoople song. So that's what happens when you're a guy who grew up listening to the Mothers of Invention and Hank Williams at the same time. You end up doing a hillbilly version of a glam rock band, you know. But they're really just songs that always struck me, you know. And then, you know, a couple of songs were ones that the guys already were in love with. We decided that, you know, since we're such Beatles fans and since they were such an inspiration for us, that we had to cut a Beatles song. We decided to go for, I mean, if you're going to be a Boxmaster, you just got to go for it. So we did I Want to Hold Your Hand, probably the most famous song they ever had. And it's amazing how easy it translated, because all those guys listened to, you know, American country music and blues and R&B, all of it, you know. And so their influences, you know, created those songs, which then in turn influence us. It's a really great thing. The Kids Are All Right was slightly calculated because since the Boxmasters have a slightly punk attitude, you know, because some of our stuff is very irreverent, and the whole idea of doing this is, so we wanted to do a Who song, because without the Who, there would have been no Ramones, there would have been no Sex Pistols. And we had to do a Who song. We were originally going to do a song of theirs called The Seeker. And we couldn't figure out in an easy way how to make that into a hillbilly song. And we were listening to The Kids Are All Right one night and decided that might do it. And sure enough, we played it and it worked out. But yeah, it's a bunch of stuff that we are paying reverence to, as well as just stuff that sounds good to us. Michael Nesmith of the Monkees was one of the greatest songwriters ever, and an innovator in so many ways, both with you know, marrying music with cinema and just as a songwriter, period. So we got a couple of songs he wrote that the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band did on their Uncle Charlie record, and I used to work with the Dirt Band a little bit when I was a little idiotic teenager. And I just remembered those songs, so we did two of theirs that Mike wrote. And so it really just influences. We wanted to cover their songs. And then we did old hillbilly stuff by the Wilburn Brothers and the Luhan Brothers, Mel Tillis. So we kind of covered a little bit of all of it, and then got into writing the original songs.
But it all kind of becomes something new when you have the Luban Brothers, something like Knoxville Girl juxtaposed against I Want to Hold Your Hand. Each song kind of takes on a whole new meaning, I think, for the listener. Was that kind of intentional to kind of play with everyone when they're, you guys spend a lot of time in the studio crafting this thing really well, and it's kind of fun to listen to.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a purposeful move to do a really dark song like Knoxville Girl, which is essentially a song about murder, and it's a song that doesn't. It starts dark and it doesn't get any better. It just gets darker and then it's over. And the very next song is I Want to Hold Your Hand, an innocent pop song. So we did that purposely, to do the dark and the fun one right after the other.
It sort of makes I Want to Hold Your Hand a little darker too, somehow.
Yeah,
like after listening to that song, suddenly it seems a little more sinister to want to hold someone's hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different kind of character you're listening to. Yeah. Now, all that said, and that's all great, the song people are responding to right off the bat are the original songs. So what does that feel like, to have people responding to the new music, and getting a kick out of that?
Well, it's great to have a double record set, and it's great to have a whole record of covers. But obviously the songs that are your own, you know, if people respond to those, that's the gravy, you know. And so far people will say, man, we love your covers, but boy, those originals. And that's what makes you feel good. I mean, obviously. You know, we have the song The Poorhouse out now, and that's playing on the video channels. And it's so amazing to hear people talk about your original music and to respond to it, and to also hear it yourself played somewhere. I mean, the record's not even out yet, and yet we get the great joy of being able to turn the TV on and suddenly your video's on with your song. It's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm. Is it fun bringing it back a turn like The Poorhouse? Because you did that with Hobo, and now people are talking about The Poorhouse again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of younger people, they wouldn't necessarily know what The Poorhouse was, but when I was growing up, that was the thing. You know, your parents, every time you come back in and ask for another 50 cents to go buy a record or whatever, it's like, you're going to put us in the poorhouse. And, you know, in the old days, they had actual poorhouses, like I guess in England and places. sort of Charles Dickens-like stuff. And the whole idea behind the Boxmasters record is to make a record about the sort of lower middle class lifestyle, which I grew up in, and we all grew up in it actually, where we might look snappy now, but you should have seen us. But it's about people who don't necessarily have the means to rise above where they are, and songs about that lifestyle. And it all has a lot to do with Southern literature, where humor and tragedy are mixed. Because most of these songs have some humor in them, and yet they're pretty sad subjects. And the music's kind of peppy and fun, and yet the subject matter is usually pretty dark. But I don't know. It's really just it's a whole collection of songs about those people that we see every day on television, on the news, going through all these, personal tragedies or, natural disasters and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And it's all filtered through the music and through your sensibility and through the writing. But people are, I think, responding to those stories in your music. Is that gratifying to know that you're touching people like good rock and roll or good country music can by kind of telling those stories?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be able to play music that sounds real that's what we all strive for. I mean, we play kind of like we played growing up, and it's us. That's the great thing about it. We don't have a studio band, come cut a track and then we come in and sing for 15 minutes and leave. And it feels really good to work 16 hours a day doing this stuff. And it's very gratifying to be doing all the types of music you love, all kind of put into one also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So much of this record is the great guitar sound going on with you guys. If you can just talk about something with the guitars behind you, just how you got to cut loose and try different things, and what was the best part of doing this kind of music with what you do?
Well, just the fact that we're ultimately just trying to please ourselves. So, Billy's got an incredible collection of vintage instruments and amps, and so it was like, for me, a kid in a candy store. It was sort of wide open for me to try different things and, play guitars and through different amps, and we tried just about every combination there was, just to find, that sound that we were all hearing in our heads. And, it's about the most fun you can have. Just being able to, plug these great old guitars and these great old amps. There's a reason why they're called classics. Like the sounds that those guitars make. It's just something that touches all of us, and it's like it sort of reverberates inside us, so that we, to be able to, put that on a record is it's a lot of fun.
Taking these guitars live, just talk about what people can look forward to with this tour.
There's a lot of guitars. And we make quite a racket up there, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. So, the people are going to have to get up out of their seats and, shake around a little bit, because we aren't going to tolerate them just sitting there.
He's the cop in the band.
Speaking about the fun, though, how much fun? Ultimately, at the end of the day, the suits and the image and everything you've talked about so far. Is there a great just sense of fun? You guys wouldn't be doing this if it was bringing you down. Is there a great satisfaction about putting on this show and doing this? You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. The thing about playing music is it doesn't matter, like you were talking about the, dark subject matter sometimes and the, heaviness in some of the lyrics or whatever. The thing about this band is all the music sounds, we don't have many dirges. It's mostly kind of up-tempo, fun kind of music. So I think the difference between the live show and listening to the records, on the record you might get into those lyrics some and realize what the stories are saying. Live, it just sounds fun. So you don't really know all the time what we're singing about. But but yeah, it's an amazing thing to have, first of all, just to be in a band, like I said earlier. You know, having done this, you know, growing up, being in a band, that's what we all loved. And, you know, being a solo artist is fine, and you can sit down there and write your stuff and feel satisfied with your songs, but just that camaraderie and touring when you're an actual unit. And for me, it takes a lot of pressure off. Being there was an ad they put in one of the, we played at the South by Southwest Festival, and in one of the magazines it showed a picture of the three of us, and it said the Boxmasters, 1/3 more famous than most new bands, which I thought was pretty clever. But for me, it takes a lot of pressure off having to be the guy all the time, you know what I mean, in something. And, you know, I'm just in the band. And, you know, we love those guys. We love the Animals, and we love the Stones and the Kinks and all those people. And to be able to wear their clothing and experience what that was as adults, you know, because I did it as a kid, but you know, we couldn't play very well when I was 11. You know, we do better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, is it pressure off not having, I mean, granted, I know you're still writing these songs, you'll be singing a lot of them when you're on tour too, but not having the same personal stories of some of these songs, because you've written some dark stuff and songs we've talked about many times, and you've never been afraid to bury yourself in, you know, on your records. Doing this kind of stuff, is it a different vibe? Do you let yourself go? Is there a certain freedom?
Yeah, there is a real freedom to this. I probably feel more free musically than I ever have. And I guess some of it is the fact that not every song has to be something that's exactly right out of my soul from like yesterday, you know, or something. That we can do some stuff that's fun and funny, you know, and at the same time, you know, do songs that mean something, you know. We've kind of got the whole package here. But yeah, it's been a, you know, people use this word a little too much, I think, but, you know, sometimes it's appropriate. I mean, it's been a pretty cathartic experience for me.
A lot of drinking on this record, on both discs.
There's a lot of drinking.
Oh, not just on the record.
I was going to say, but how much of that translates to you guys getting to the vibe and the feel when you're making the music?
Well, yeah, we enjoy an adult beverage from time to time.
Yeah, the youngsters especially. Me, I'm more into like hot tea and sprout sandwiches.
Yeah, I don't think so. I remember one of the first times I interviewed you talking about, I'm not one of those guys that goes to the fancy restaurants or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't give me any sushi.
And when I go back, you know, so he knows better.
What's Billy like as a band leader?
Well, he knows what we're doing, even when sometimes we don't. And he's real good at, you know, first off, picking the songs, you know, that, of course, me and Mike have never heard. And having that, you know, great library of songs to be able to dig through and figure out what's going to be the best songs for us to record is quite amazing. So, because, you know, I'd never know the original Mixed Up Kid or Sawmill even, or Propinquity, or Propinquity, sorry, Mike. So just having that, you know, and then, you know, on the original songs, just, you know, none of us, you know, write a single word on the rest of the songs, and, you know, it's all, we don't have to, you know, it's brilliant just starting with, so, but, you know, that overall vision, you know, just to start with, you know, we you know, sit and we throw parts on these songs and try to, you know, make them sound good, but, you know, the guy that sits back there and goes, well, maybe you shouldn't do that, you know, is, that's what he's there for.
Of the artists you guys covered, the ones that are still around, there's a few of them that are still kicking. How much are they aware of this project? Have you played any of it before? How many of these guys are your friends? How much have they heard what you've done?
We cut a song that's not on the record by Kris Kristofferson, and we sent it to Kris, and he was very pleased with it. So we're very happy about that, because when you get right down to it, I don't know where you would find a better songwriter than Kris Kristofferson. So we're very proud that he was approving of our cover of his song. we will put it on something at some point. It just wasn't on this record. You know, some of the other ones, I know Mel Tillis a little bit, and I can't wait to play him Sawmill. But most of the people on the cover side don't really know yet that we've covered their songs.
We'll come out to some of the shows as you guys travel the country. Talk about the excitement level, just what you guys hope the dreams are for this over the next year, because it's really just starting off now, and you guys are all jazzed. What do you hope the Boxmasters achieve in kind of the American musical landscape this summer and further?
Oh, we're just really excited to be making this music that we love to death. So just all the response we've gotten so far, you know, we already feel like it's a success. I mean, we're going to keep making this music, you know, whether or not anyone out there buys it, because we love it. So that's the satisfaction to us. But just to see, you know, the reaction that we've been getting, and to be able to go out there and play shows where people are truly appreciative and truly love the music, like, that's just an amazing feeling. That's all the gravy.
And you know, that's really the truth too. I mean, we love this band and we love this music so much, and we're so humbled, even in the fact that we're on a great label like Vanguard, which has such a pedigree and such a history. A label that I wanted to be on since I was a kid. It's as Mike said, it's already a success. If 10 people buy the record, it's the same to us as if 1 million people bought it. Not the same to Vanguard, and plus the fact that if we don't sell a lot of records, then they'll both end up living in my den. We have high hopes for it. I mean, we hope that it's successful commercially simply because we want to keep doing it. But we certainly
don't have nearly enough amps and guitars.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
true.
we need to sell some more records so that
more
we
stuff.
can buy more vintage guitars and amps.
But we really do. We do love it so much that we don't really think about the commercial possibilities. Although, you know, as I said, we hope we're able to reach enough people to keep doing it, and that's really all we want out of it. I mean, we're not doing this to be huge stars. You know, we're really not. And as a matter of fact, I've spent the last 10 years of my life trying to not be a star. As much as I possibly can.
In some ways, you never stop being creative. You never stop working. So, you know what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
You keep doing it. Yeah. How excited is it when it's probably still fun for you when you get the finished record and it's in your hands? It's still like the first day you ever probably cut a record or even bought a record for that matter.
It's so thrilling. I mean, when we got the advance records, you know, for the radio stations and for the press and everybody, when we got those in the boxes, you know, it was thrilling. It's always thrilling. It never gets old. But the biggest thrill I think we've had was when this square flat box came, and it was the test pressing, because the label has been kind enough to put out a limited release vinyl, which for this kind of record, with that kind of look, the 60s look, where you can actually see the pictures, and like looking at the Dave Clark 5 records or whatever, and that's such a thrill for us, you know. And collectors or fans, you know, they love that, you know. And hopefully we'll need more than 500 at some point, but they've been so kind in doing that vinyl for us. And when we got that box of the test pressing of that vinyl and opened it up and put it on a record player and heard our record, I'd have to say that's been the biggest thrill we've had.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect that way. Huh?
Yeah.
Just want to get you. We spent the day today in Cannes with Angelina.
Oh, you did?
Just today. So I want to just get your thoughts on just her twins. And
You
how
did?
excited you are. Not me personally. My colleague.
I was going to say, damn, Adam, man, you're
That's a trip.
We've all done stuff like that before, but no.
You know, I think she was always meant to be a mother in so many ways. She certainly mothered me a few times, and I'm just so happy for her. I mean, I'm happy that I'm happy for the kids too, that they have a mother like her and a father like him.
You've always said wonderful things about her. Just how proud are you of her charitable endeavors as well? Just things she's done around the world. Are you constantly amazed by that stuff?
Absolutely. I'm astounded that somebody has that kind of passion and that much energy for something that that actually does affect people and helps people out. You know, I've always supported her in that, and anything, any small way that I've ever done anything like that has been a pretty humbling experience to see the people that you can help out there. And she's, I'd say she's right at the top of the list in people who are trying to do something for this world.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Lastly, just the last few days you guys have before this big tour, how much time is spent kind of woodshedding down here? How much time do you guys not want to be together till you spend every minute on the road?
We spend
sort of
every
haven't reached that point yet where we're that sick of each other. But yeah, no, it's